we have this simple scene in which we have two cliffs which are polycubes, and we have a character called Ultimate Walker. This Ultimate Walker will jump over the cliff here. So I just want a simple run takeoff and then go ahead. So firstly, when we got this shot, I will create a camera. So I go to panels, perspective, and say new camera. And if I am given with any focal length guide, then I could also select my camera, open attribute editor, and in focal length I can I'll enable this resolution gate here and enable safe action gate, which I can do by getting into the camera's attributes in display resolution, display safe action, and also the color of the background can be changed to anything you want, like that. And opacity can be changed here of the mask here. I can go to display, heads up display, and enable current frame, where I could see on which frame I am right now. And this is the camera, which I can name by any shot number and scene number, if you have any guide from your studio. The size is 1024 by 768. So whatever I do in the favor of the camera, which we call as staging. It's a principle in the 12 animation principles, one of the principles. I select the camera, right click, and then lock it. Or if you have any keyframe, key it. Camera animation may be there. Maybe the camera moves from left to right, or maybe the camera moves from far to close, something like dolly shots, or sometimes the camera pans. So you need to animate them just like any object you animate in Maya. So you need to animate the camera. So how animation is done for any particular shot is very simple. We do firstly some poses which we call as the storytelling poses or key poses, and we add more key poses to get more smoothness in the total sequence of poses, and we also do some breakdowns in that, and then we let the computer do the tweening or in-betweens for us, and then we tweak the graph editor and we fine-tune, we call it as polish. So there are 4 stages here. We got blocking, we got timing, we got graph, and we have got the polish. So 4 stages we have to do our animation in. So let's say this character is standing, but he is going to run and then jump forward. So I'll let him take a big jump. So firstly I'll go to the common custom shelf here, and we have lot of icons which I've created earlier. I'm right clicking and deleting them. These are all the controls which I've created for different rigs. So I'll just come here to the perspective view. I select the controls. Like that. And I go to create, sets, quick selection set, UW, and then say add to shelf. So when I click that button, I select the controls like that. Okay. I'll go to the settings preferences and I just go to animation and I choose default out tangent to stepped. Remember this. This is if I'm doing the blocking. Some people are not comfortable in stepped because the tweening will help to put breakdown poses. So it's up to them how they want to. So I select these controls and then do a set key for that. Okay. And I really don't want to, do any timing at this level because the animation is just, I'm not taking any reference. I'm just doing with whatever I possibly can do with the idea of the jump and all. So I'll just select this control and make sure that I bring this here. Okay. So I select the control. I don't use a master control to be moved. If I want the character to jump, if you have to move the master control, then you should not move the character COG then. So you should understand that thing. So if you can do, you need to understand which is transforming the characters as Z. Is it the master control or every individual control which is helping it to move? So at sometimes if you do this and at sometimes if you use this, then it will be a great confusion for you that which is transforming in Z, and your graph editor control will be a bigger challenge. So there is no specific rule that you need to move or not move. It's only a method which you use will make your job easy. You can choose that, and what people mostly prefer will become an industry standard. So here I'm selecting these controls which can be just transformed here. Okay, like that. So I just go to very edge of this cliff and then select all the controls and press S on the keyboard. So that's one pose and that's one pose. Okay. Like that. So I think this one has a jump, not run. So a small jump. Running is continuous jumping for me. So I will go to frame number 3 and then just come in the middle and then move it like that. So I'll not select the. Okay, so the character comes from, goes there and goes there. Okay, make sure that it's in the middle here. Maybe you can just even you can do that later, there's no problem. So I select one of the leg and then move it like that, and select another leg and move it like that. And slightly I'll rotate this. So just giving that nice little balance. Uh, Initially, when we start putting poses, it can be very hazy of how we are putting it. Maybe it will evolve as we keep on doing. We get more clarity about the pose. So don't really worry about what you're doing. As you do and you progress forward. When we jump, we go something like this, down. Okay. This is a natural action in jump. We just go down and then push ourselves up. So this going down helps in gaining a lot of, we have to push our whole body, which could be, kilos of weight or pounds of weight. So you see, when you do that, you are getting that sort of something is really happening. They're just very blocky, very simple. I just go to one more pose where I will select the control and then move it up. And I just select these both controls and then break it up. Like that. Okay. So you see the progress again. So you feel that, yeah, it's happening something. The guy's jump is running and then taking off. Your major contribution, if you see an animation, the animation becomes great, and the major contribution of that animation would be good posing. So you need to know the poses correctly. Need to draw a lot of drawings. And now I just go to one more offset frame here and then so I select one of the control here and I just move it like that. Remove that foot roll and all. Move it like that. Constantly check to okay. Now I'll just go one more frame and then move the rig there. Select the control, translate Y, put it to 0 because I know the ground, and the rotation to 0, and translate Y 0, rotation 0, move it. Select the control, rotation 0. So whatever the translation Z here, it's there. 28 should be okay. He's landing exactly at the edge of the cliff. Yeah, it's okay. It can add more interest. Like that. Maybe I'll just go to 29. 28.5. And then this foot roll. As I told you, just C. So I select this foot roll and make this value 0. What did I know? Sometimes I do the next pose in the same previous frame. So I'm checking that. I'm just trying to make this character settle down after taking one small I feel that pose is not looking quite favorable, so I'm just trying to it's okay if it's breaking the symmetry. I select all the controls, and then on frame number 1 I do a set key, set key, set key, set key, set key, set key. I'm pressing S and I'm jumping to the next frame and I'm doing a set key. So you can just see we just do some change here. I switch off the NURBS curves and then see again. Okay. Now when we have got this poses, we can maybe go forward, but the thing is, see if you can still break this overall action and give more fluidity to the and this is not in the timing, so they are equally spaced. But the major poses came so that anybody just watches this will understand a guy is running, jumping, taking off. So here between these two poses, I would like to break the action. Okay, so that's why I always take the odd frames here. So between 1 and 3, I can put a pose, but I'll move the poses so that on third frame I'll get a chance to do something. Okay, now here this is the action. So I'll just go to frame number 3 as I've created an empty frame there. Okay, and I select this control, increase the foot brake. So I need to move this control up and then this control foot roll. As I said, progressively it will open up and you'll understand what to do. Okay, so I've set a pose based on what I could visualize about this. So I don't know whether it is correct, it goes correct with the scene or not. I just put it and then later I will decide whether it is matching with that or not. So here, based upon the pose, I need to do. Okay, between these two poses, I need to set up a pose. So I select this control, move it forward. Maybe I can just put a normal playback and see. Okay, due to timing, we are not, we are getting a bouncing ball effect. Let's see. Um, Maybe I need to think about this. Maybe I just. Okay, a few more changes as and then again see. Okay, here you are getting the slide effect because where he is landing and where he has been moving there, we need to fix it. So I can use graph editor and fix this, or just copy and paste the keys, I can fix it. So graph editor should be a greater help in this because I will select the control and its translation Z I'll open. Okay. Translation Z. I'll copy this value and paste it there and then paste it there. Do the same thing for the next control. Copy the key, paste it, paste it. So it will stay there only. So whatever the translation Z value is there on 27, it should be there on 29th and also 31. So that's what I want to do here. So I just go to this camera and then do a quick play blast. Looks like top bouncing ball. Once we start playing with the time, maybe things look very different, I guess. I'm not able to see the run properly. So firstly, I would like to select all the controls here, open the graph editor and then choose auto tangent so that it will immediately convert into a spline, which could be acceptable in. So I just do a play blast and see. Okay, here I could see okay, let's see this overall thing in bits and pieces. Okay, it has not converted one of the controls graph. That's the problem. Why we got that? Yeah, that's a problem. I just remove the foot roll. Okay. And this pose, what I have done here, I'll do immediately there. I select the control. So I'm just changing a few uh, frames timing here. I'm copying this pose for one more frame, and this pose here I use the foot roll. And then move it back. Okay, so okay, here I'll just set a pose which which is needed here. So I just select the control. I just see what's really happening. This leg is back. So I just want so I'll put another pose here at 23rd frame. Okay, just trying to create a nice breakdown for this leg. Okay. Very weird. Tangency problem. So I just here when it is in the middle of the air. Oops. I need to select the controls and see again there is a problem with the, I don't know why is this happening. I'll just change this animation tangency to auto. Maybe that's changing it. So I just switch this to so we'll play with the timing here. So you can use the dope sheet in case. And add 1 frame in between. While it's going up, there I'm expecting the timing. Apart from that, it should okay. I just select this control, rotate it down, just exaggerate this. Okay, so what I do is I copy this pose, do a set key. I mean this pose is in 2 frames now, so don't worry. I just open the dope sheet. Okay, here. Okay, I'll move this 3 frames so it'll go slowly, and the pose which is there here will there for 5, 6, 7. Okay, and then take off. Just he pauses there at the ground. Let's see how this may look. It's not necessarily that we need to slow out for the movements of the character, but it is preferable to show up all the poses what we have done. Are they really visible? Are they really helping out? Is also matter. Okay. So whenever we jump, if we like go down like that, we call this as an anticipation pose, which means we are anticipating that this character is going to jump now. So audience can get some time about understanding what is going to happen next. So these actions can be very small, or it can be even big, or even a dialogue can be an anticipatory. That dialogue can help us to tell, okay, next this is going to happen. So audience will get prepared, and they will be never be in shock of okay, what happened. So you're preparing your audience, see, this guy is going to jump now. So this pose is anticipation pose. And also there is something called line of action, which is this. If I do a play blast, I'll just put a line of action there. You could see the angle of the body keeps on changing. Okay. So we run a line through the, this is an imaginary a line. Here the body, the both legs are stretched, but some poses are very clear to tell you the line of action. Line of action is a line runs through the length of the body, okay, and that defines the action of the character. So if I really put this character like this at this point, instead of putting this, if I put like this, that doesn't make any sense, or it doesn't give you the feel of that. So line of action is that. And there is one more thing we should really worry about is the arc principle, whether we are going in arc. And here make sure that the timing is slower, and here the timing is a little bit faster. Here the timing is fast, and here the timing is slow. So see that the timing is not uniform at this point. Okay. So even you can use this stretch control. The character when folds close is a squash pose. When he opens up, it is the stretched pose. So you did not really do this thing to give squash and stretch here, but we have a control here which we can okay, I just did the drag effect, not the squash and stretch effect for the ball. Okay. That sort of thing can add more life to the characters. Generally, if you see a organic animal like a buffalo or elephant, when it moves, the whole muscles, the fat, skin on the top moves, and it looks more lively. So if your character has got anything like that which can deform the whole body, use that efficiently to give more life, a loose. I mean, instead of making it like robot which is made with metal, try to make it look as if it is made with skin. Okay.